I don't like it. So different.
Different is just different until it isn't anymore.
That's a f***ing bar.
Sensational.
In this life that we live, there are things that we cannot always control, such as relationships, life situations, and even death. Bro, the only constant in life is change, which means it's inevitable. But it's also important when to differentiate when to fight, run, or surrender to these life occurrences. Basically, what I'm trying to say is...
Ow! Jeez, what was that for?
It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it.
In most cases, what comes to pass cannot be undone. And we might as well talk about the biggest one first, death. It's important to remember that it's a part of life. It's inevitable. Those are things that you simply cannot change. It's out of your control. And I'm not sitting here to say like, oh, don't be sentimental about it. It's just, there's nothing you can do about it. And I would say the hardest thing in the past couple of years was losing my mother, because it's just like, bro, that's your parent. And when you lose them at such a young age, it's just like, damn, I wish I could have done this. I wish this would have happened. I wish she could have met my kids. I wish my kids would have met her, this, that, and the third. But that's just causing more stress for myself. And, you know, the way that I think about it, I wouldn't think that my mother would want that as well. So I try to put it in my head as, you know, embrace that it happened, have the loving memories of what I was able to receive within that time, and do my best to carry on moving forward in the best hopes of doing what she would expect of me, not per se, but, you know, living in her light and continuing to remember her as I go. That's the only thing I can do, I guess. Yeah. Now, as for life situations, I guess it can apply to a lot of different things, but mainly what I'm trying to say is your specific lifestyle and how that can change within a given, without a given notice. How you can go from living a fairly decent lifestyle and having a healthy life, you know, healthy relationships, this, that, and third, for everything to be able to just crumble at the snap of a finger. I think it's not a change that you should just like sit and embrace and be like, okay, I'm, what's the word I'm looking for? Comfortable, or rather complacent in the situation. It's more so saying that you embrace the fact of what has happened. The fact that there are highs and lows inside your life, and whenever it comes to a point where you're in a low, that you're just not going to deny it and say, okay, no, I can continue, let's say, trying to live that same lifestyle, continue trying to do the same things that you were doing before. That's not always possible. Sometimes you literally have to change your entire lifestyle to adjust with your life situation until you're back into another high, and basically go with the flow with where your life situation is at. Again, not to be complacent, which is completely different, but to embrace and understand what happened and not be in denial of things of that sort. Oh, I can still do this and a third. Sure, you can, but embrace the fact that you have much more responsibilities now. You have more factors to put in play, opposed to saying that you can still do the same thing. If that makes sense. Probably didn't make sense. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense to me. And lastly, relationships. Whether it be a spouse, family, friends, anywhere within that general circle of relationship between one person and another. Now, of course, it's all circumstantial, but in the case where either you yourself have changed, which again is inevitable, or the person that you're correlating with has changed in some sense, and there comes a decision of whether or not, and this takes both parties as well, whether or not you two will decide to continue being friends irregardless of the change that has occurred, or to depart. Okay, let's say inside a scenario where you're embracing somebody's change. Let's say it's a spouse. Regardless of who you think they are today, yesterday, whatever it may be, more than likely they may change at some point within your lifetime. If this is gonna be a life partner, right? And it's up to you and your partner to decide collaboratively to embrace the change that happens within yourself and them. Whether it's physical change, mental change, emotional, their appearance has changed, you know, they became a little bit less trusting, whatever. These are things that you can embrace. And the flip side of the situation is, let's say you had a long-standing childhood friend, y'all were real good, from fucking elementary to high school, but now it turns out the guy is killing people, selling drugs, and this and the third. That's a change that you may not have expected from somebody that's been inside your life for so long, but because you yourself no longer want to deal with that, you need to embrace the fact that this motherfucker changed and you need to get the fuck up out of there and no longer be in cahoots with what's going on. And I guess that's the conclusion of what I wanted to say. I'm not, what do they say? This is not legal advice. Mwah.